Imagine stepping back in time nearly 2,000 years ago. Picture the early morning in ancient Jerusalem as the first rays of dawn paint the sky with hues of gold and rose. The city awakens, stirring from its slumber, ready to embrace a new day filled with both promise and peril. Sunlight, warm and inviting, begins spilling over the temple courtyard, the heart of the city's spiritual life. The ancient stone architecture glows, reflecting the light in a dazzling display of reverence and history. The air is cool and crisp, carrying the distinct scent of freshly baked bread wafting from the nearby marketplace. It's a comforting aroma, a simple pleasure amidst the complexities of life in Jerusalem. Soon the marketplace buzzes with activity, filled with the hum of gathering crowds, people from all walks of life converging in this central hub. Pilgrims, their faces etched with devotion, arrive from distant lands, eager to worship at the temple. Merchants hawk their wares, their voices adding to the cacophony of the marketplace. Scholars, clad in their ancient robes, engage in lively debates, their words echoing through the narrow streets. All are converging, drawn to the magnetic pull of Jerusalem. This is the epicenter, the very heart of Jewish life, where faith, commerce, and tradition intertwine. And amidst this vibrant tapestry of humanity sits Jesus, a figure of profound influence. He doesn't command attention from a grand stage or opulent palace, but rather chooses the humble setting of the stone steps leading to the temple. From this unassuming location, he begins speaking words that challenge the status quo and upend long-held expectations. He talks of love, a radical, all-encompassing love that transcends boundaries and embraces even the most marginalized. He speaks of a kingdom beyond this world, a spiritual realm where earthly power and possessions hold no sway. And he proclaims a God who welcomes all, regardless of their past or their social standing. The ordinary people, the common folk who are so often overlooked and disregarded by those in power, they feel seen, heard, and valued in his presence, as if a light has been shone upon their inherent worth. But not everyone is captivated by his message of love and inclusion. The scribes and Pharisees, the learned men and religious leaders of the time, the self-proclaimed guardians of tradition and interpreters of the law, watch Jesus and his growing following with suspicion and growing unease. They see Jesus not as a benevolent teacher, but as a dangerous threat to their established authority, their carefully constructed power structure, and the old ways they so fiercely defend. The stage is set, the players are in place. Jesus, the radical teacher, challenging the very foundations of their society. The religious elite, the self-appointed defenders of the law and keepers of tradition. And the people, the masses caught in between these opposing forces, uncertain of who to believe or where to turn. Tension hangs heavy in the air, thick with anticipation and unspoken conflict, as a confrontation of epic proportions brews, threatening to erupt and shatter the fragile peace. This is not just another day in Jerusalem. This is a pivotal moment, a historical crossroads that will echo through the corridors of time. The sun rises higher in the sky, casting long shadows across the ancient city, and a carefully laid trap, meticulously planned and deceptively baited, is about to spring, forever altering the course of history. The sun rises, casting long shadows across the city, but the peace of dawn is fleeting. Suddenly, angry shouts shatter the morning calm, a discordant symphony of rage and accusation. The scribes and Pharisees, their faces contorted with self-righteous fury, drag a terrified woman, her clothes disheveled and her spirit broken. They manhandle her through the streets, their grip tight and unforgiving. They force their way into the courtyard, the sacred space now tainted by their anger and the woman's despair. Her shame is on full display, a scarlet letter etched onto her very being. She tries to shield herself from the judging eyes, but there is no escape. With a final shove, they thrust her before Jesus, throwing her at his feet like a discarded object. The crowd, a sea of faces both curious and condemning, forms a tight circle of judgment, trapping her in the center of their collective scorn. "Teacher," one sneers, his voice dripping with contempt, "this woman was caught in the very act of adultery." The words hang in the air, heavy with accusation and malice. The law is clear. Mosaic law, the bedrock of their society, leaves no room for interpretation. Death by stoning, a brutal public execution, a stark reminder of the consequences of sin. The crowd watches silent and tense, their eyes darting between the woman and Jesus, eager to see what will unfold. As the woman stands alone, utterly isolated in her shame and fear, she is condemned not only by the law, but by the unforgiving gaze of the crowd. Her accusers grip their stones, the instruments of her impending death, cold and heavy in their hands, ready to enforce the law to deliver what they believe is righteous justice. But they are eager for something more than just justice. There's a glint of something darker in their eyes. This is no ordinary trial. It's a carefully orchestrated trap, a calculated move in a much larger game. It's a public spectacle designed to humiliate and condemn, not just the woman, but someone else as well. A trap meticulously laid for Jesus. The woman is a pawn, a helpless piece in a dangerous game of religious and political maneuvering. Her fate is secondary to their real goal, a means to an end, a sacrifice they are willing to make. Their true intention is ensnaring the teacher, forcing him into a position where he must either defy the law or betray his own teachings. The air is thick with judgment, heavy with the weight of tradition and the suffocating pressure of public opinion. Fear, raw and palpable, emanates from the woman, a silent scream trapped in her throat. And anticipation hangs heavy in the air, a collective breath held in the expectation of what is to come. All eyes are on Jesus, the center of this swirling vortex of accusation and judgment. The crowd is waiting breathlessly for his response, for the words that will either condemn the woman or expose the hypocrisy of her accusers. The moment is electric, charged with tension, pregnant with possibility, a turning point in the lives of all present. Her life and his reputation hang precariously in the balance, suspended between the weight of the law and the promise of grace. This scene isn't about justice, it's a calculated test for Jesus. The accusers press him, "Moses commands us to stone such women, what do you say?" If Jesus agrees, he betrays his message of mercy and risks Roman wrath. If he refuses, he's accused of defying sacred law. Either answer, they believe, will destroy him, hypocrite, heretic, or criminal. The woman's life is collateral in their power play. They wield the law as a weapon, hoping to end Jesus' influence. The crowd waits, the tension unbearable. The trap is set and the accusers are certain of victory. All that remains is Jesus' answer. The air crackles with anticipation, the crowd a sea of expectant faces. They've cornered Jesus, or so they think, presenting him with a moral dilemma designed to trap him. But Jesus doesn't answer immediately. He doesn't rise to their bait, doesn't engage in the battle they've so carefully orchestrated. Instead, in a move that confounds everyone present, he bends down, his gaze averted from the accusing eyes, and begins to write in the dust. The silence stretches, thick and heavy, punctuated only by the soft scratching of his finger against the ground. The crowd holds its breath. What is he doing? What could possibly be the purpose of this strange, almost dismissive act? Is he ignoring them? Is he buying time? The tension is palpable, a coiled spring ready to snap. Some say he wrote the accuser's sins, a silent unveiling of their own imperfections and hypocrisies. Others think he wrote the law itself, perhaps highlighting the very commandments they were so eager to enforce, yet so quick to disregard in their own lives. Whatever it was, the act of writing, combined with his deliberate silence, breaks the momentum of their attack. It throws them off balance, forcing them to confront the unexpected. He refuses to play their game, to engage on their terms, shifting the focus from accusation and judgment to reflection, introspection, and perhaps even a flicker of self-awareness. The accusers grow impatient, their carefully constructed trap seemingly losing its hold, pressing him for a response, demanding that he fulfill his role in their predetermined scenario. Still, Jesus remains calm, a beacon of serenity in the midst of their rising agitation. His quiet defiance unsettling their certainty, exposing the cracks in their self-righteous facade. By stooping to the ground, he lowers himself, both physically and symbolically. He aligns himself with the shamed woman, not the proud accusers, demonstrating a profound act of solidarity and compassion. He transforms the public spectacle, this orchestrated moment of judgment and humiliation, into a private moment of conscience, a space for individual reckoning and moral evaluation. The tension builds, the silence stretches, becoming almost unbearable. Jesus' silence is more powerful than any argument, more disruptive than any accusation. It's a silence that speaks volumes. The accusers demand an answer, a justification, a condemnation, but he gives them space to reflect, to examine their own hearts, to consider the implications of their actions. The crowd senses a shift. The atmosphere is changing, the power dynamic subtly altered. The trap is unraveling, its carefully laid threads coming undone by the simple act of silence and a few words written in the dust. The stage is set for a response that will change everything, a moment of truth that will expose the hearts of all those present. Jesus finally stands and looks at the accusers. "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone." With a single sentence, he turns judgment inward. The accusers are forced to examine their own hearts. Jesus bends down again, giving them privacy to wrestle with their conscience. One by one, the accusers drop their stones and leave, oldest first. The crowd disperses, the spectacle dissolves into silence. The woman is left standing, not condemned, but freed by mercy. Jesus' challenge exposes hypocrisy and invites honest self-reflection. The power of conscience prevails over the thirst for punishment. The moment is transformed from execution to redemption. The courtyard is quiet. Only Jesus and the woman remain. He asks gently, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" She replies, "No one, sir." Jesus says, "Then neither do I condemn you. Go now and leave your life of sin." In that moment, she receives not judgment but grace, a second chance. Jesus, the only one truly without sin, chooses mercy over condemnation. His forgiveness is not an excuse but an invitation to a new life. He calls her to move beyond her past, to live differently. The law demanded death. Jesus offers hope and transformation. Mercy triumphs over judgment and a life is restored. The story's climax is not punishment but the power of forgiveness. A new future begins in the dust of the courtyard. This story isn't just ancient history, it's a lesson for us all. Jesus' words challenge our instinct to judge, reminding us of our own flaws. We carry stones of criticism, gossip and resentment, quick to condemn others. But true holiness is found in humility and compassion, not accusation. The accusers left because they recognized their own imperfection. The story calls us to put down our stones and offer grace instead. We're invited to see others as fellow travelers, not objects of scorn. Change comes not through shame, but through love and mercy. The lesson is clear. Mercy is stronger than judgment. What will you choose to carry? Stones or compassion? This story is about all of us, each with regrets and moments of shame. We know what it's like to feel condemned by others or ourselves. Jesus' message, your past does not define your future. His mercy offers a second chance, freeing us from the weight of our mistakes. Forgiveness isn't denial, it's release. We're called to offer grace to others and to ourselves. Let go of grudges. Accept the gift of a new beginning. Neither do I condemn you words for you today. Stand up, leave the past behind, and step into a life shaped by grace. Redemption is possible every single day. As we leave the temple courtyard, the story lingers, a timeless reminder that mercy triumphs over judgment. In a divided world, this ancient lesson is more vital than ever. Compassion, not condemnation, is the path forward. These stories are blueprints for a more humane, hopeful life. If this message resonates, join us for more tales of radical grace. There's so much more to discover: wisdom, hope, and the power to change. Let's leave the stones behind and walk into a new day of mercy. Until next time, may grace guide your steps. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe for more inspiring content and never miss an update.